Hello, everybody. This is National Master Okechukwu, and glad to be joined by Nubairshah Shaikh. I am and close to GM with two GM norms now. Yes or
Three,
no?
three. Yeah,
Three GM norms. Yes,
yeah.
yes, yes. So very strong player and very well known to members of our chess castle community. So we're presenting games from the current Minnesota Closed Championship, which is in four sections, and premier, expert, amateur, and reserve. We'll be focusing on the games, the FIDE rated games in the premier and expert section. The games started yesterday evening, and with one round and 2 rounds today, 2 rounds tomorrow. And at the end of the tournament, hopefully we'll be able to crown champions in each of the sections. So with that background information, I guess I'll hand it over to Nubair.
Yeah. Thank you, National Master OK, for introduction. And very good morning to all of you. We are here. We are at the weekend Minnesota Close 2020 tournament. In round one, out of the 6 digital boards live from the open and premier section, we had 5 draws and only 1 win. So why not to start with that game, I thought. So we have Tim playing here with the white pieces against Charles Hua. And we'll have a look at this and then one more game. So it was Sicilian and B4. So I would say long time no see to this line. Like this used to be a line people used to play like 20 years ago or something. And suddenly we have this line. Even I forgot the name of this line. What it is called?
So it's the Sicilian Wing Gambit.
Yeah, Sicilian Wing Gambit, yeah.
Yeah. Tim Rademacher, to give some extra background, so when I first played him, I don't know, close to 20 years ago, he was a very solid player as white. And then in the last maybe 5-6 years, as white, he plays gambits pretty much every round as white. So he has the wing gambit against the Sicilian, against the French. He likes to play the Milne Barry. I joked with him one time that if I look at the board and it's within 10 moves and it's not down a pawn, something is wrong. He might be sick. So that's some background to his choice here. Yes.
Yeah, it's an interesting idea. It is not that great gambit, but if your opponent doesn't know how to react properly, you could get a good position. For example, usually they capture. Okay, of course, if black does not capture, then white gets the center control right away. So black must capture this gambit. And usually they play d4, knight f3, or even a3 at times. And the whole idea of this line is to get center control. And somehow black gets this structure, and then you try to push the pawn, and you just try to attack the king. That's the whole point. And if black doesn't know how to put or develop these minor pieces properly, or what to do after a3, if they don't know how to react, if they play like this, then it could be a problem for this bishop to develop later on. Maybe you have to develop from here, and anyway this d4 c3 is going to happen, and white may have enough compensation, if not initiative. So here I think d5 is one of the lines, one of the main moves. I have only played this, I guess, whenever my opponents played this before. Not many opponents played, or not a single opponent played since I become international master. But before that, people used to try this at times for offbeat line or in age category tournaments. But once they saw that I'm playing d5 here, almost everyone stopped playing this, because this is the best move, and you are just striking in the center right away. So if there's a ab4, there's a d takes e4, and if you take maybe also knight f6 is another option apart from capturing right away. So e5 was played, queen d5, and guys, so you need to be alert here. If you capture this, you might lose rook in 5 moves. So that's the trick and the point of d5 behind this. Knight f3, preventing
if you may, it isn't an idle bit of advice Nubair is giving, because that blunder actually happened in a U.S. championship game. Yes.
It's very
very strong player. Very strong player playing white. Yeah, I think he was blitzing or whatever. I don't know what happened. Kamran Shirazi.
Yeah, I know him. I played him.
Yes,
I played him.
yes. He was white and he played, and then just played Apex B4, and
Oh my gosh. I think he was the last opponent with whom I played the C4, C5, B4. I think we played in France or something.
Yes, he
In
moved to
2016
France.
or something.
Yes.
He plays all the offbeat lines or all the side lines and like this. But okay, it's pity he blended like this. And people think that, okay, maybe, black just wants pawn and it's fine. Okay, I take, you move your queen again, and suddenly you have to resign. You are left with no option.
Yeah.
So knight f3, this time no blunders. e5. So eyeing for take. Oops. And maybe knight a6, knight f6, and black has a very good or solid position. Bishop b4. c3, bishop goes back to d6. Now e4 is also threatened. Knight a3, eyeing for some bishop c4 ideas. Let's say you play knight c6 and your queen may feel a little awkward there if knight b5 or bishop c4 like moves comes in. So knight c6 was played. I think bishop c4 is something natural here, and trying to just open up the king and castle fast. Maybe that was the right way to prove something, but he played knight b5, and I think now, okay, still threatening bishop c4, and queen c5 is a d4, and you are trying to win a piece. So again, it could go like this, like knight f6, you blunder, and again bishop c4. Luckily, you have a check here, so you escape. But let's say you again have to go back and defend this. But otherwise, it could be a dangerous, like d4, and you must take now. Bishop is hanging. And after this, we have bishop d2, and whenever you capture the fork. So I bishop c4 was the right way, but in the game we witnessed knight b5, which is with the threat of bishop here, and queen e4 is there, so I think it's not a big deal. He anyways goes back. Black is already better here.
Yes, I think maybe one of the advantages of playing the bishop c4 instead of the knight b5 is the queen is probably better on d5 than e4. So say bishop c4, queen e4, bishop e2. If the queen goes back to d5, he's lost a tempo, right?
Exactly. That definitely. This would have been a better try for white. And okay, we can claim maybe black is already better here and comfortable. This is definitely bad. I mean, whatever happens, white needs to develop his pieces as quick as possible. He cannot make pawn moves because again the checks will come. When j6 again, now look, you cannot even castle. Bishop s3 is coming. And if you are white, if you have played wings gambit, you have sacrificed pawn, and if you get checkmated or if your opponent is attacking, then it's very, very sad. So, and this speaks for itself, like you cannot castle anymore. He plays d3, desperate trying to activate something. But black will not take, but why would black give a counterplay? And by the time he attacks this, it's very well defended. All the weaknesses in black's camp are defended without moving pawns, and that's the beauty of black's position. Wait, I was just wondering, why not this? So there's a knight h4 and queen has no good square. Okay. So d8, putting some pressure here, e4. And finally, this is coming. Now, what is the difference? You just play queen f6?
It's not clear. Maybe... Huh. Why here versus a few moves ago? Maybe he figured it didn't make a difference in terms of move order and just was happy that the queen was away.
Yeah. And maybe he was done with all the good moves which he could make. And now he had nothing left. I mean, he can play this, but it's not giving a threat. He cannot touch the bishop. And So maybe he decided to develop the piece, and maybe that's why bishop s3 was played in this particular moment. Anyway, all positions knight h4. I think black is going to play queen f6, and probably if he comes back, you will have to move the bishop again. This is not good. This is not good for sure. I mean, he could have just came back and okay, maybe he will move the bishop. You also get a tempo. You go bishop g5. You develop your pieces, and okay, you're down a pawn, but it's just it is still a game. There is some pressure here, but you cannot play g3. If you play g3, then I think it's too much beginning. Even in future, maybe like this also possible.
Yeah.
Like you're thinking maybe there's a rook 8, but there's a knight d4 coming in, and lots of attacking possibilities.
Which is interesting. The white's pawn moves g3 and c4 have created significant weaknesses. If black is able to uncoil, d4, f3 are both looking like there might be sources of joy for black.
Yeah, definitely. Like this is just coming for free. Like he played b4 first gift, second gift, and this is the biggest gift. And yeah, he accepted with both hands. And now, okay, he needs to be careful because the rook is hanging and there are no good sacrifices as the bishop controls this. So he played knight f5, trying to eliminate the defenders of the king, I would say, in this particular way, where black is just trying to eliminate the defender of the king. This is not good. Wait, what's happening? He's knight g2. I thought he would have exchanged, but he goes here. And why not simply knight d4? I was wondering. Because you lose the
I think he might be setting up for tactic, maybe.
Yeah, so what I can understand from b6 is now he's sitting knight d4 and he's no longer losing that pawn.
Yes.
So that could be a possibility or idea behind this. So knight f4 was played, and now the bishop is trapped. Yeah, the bishop is trapped. Maybe you have to play queen h6 or something. He took on b5 off.
What this is actually very nice, I think. So his idea is the knight on f4 is safe because of the pin, but once a knight comes into d4, it's no longer a pin.
Yeah, but I was just wondering, what if he takes the rook?
Yeah, so now one of the knights goes to d4.
One of the knight goes to d4. Let's say knight c d4.
Let's do the other knight. Well, both knights should be fine. Yes.
Or let's say knight f d4 and he captures anyways.
Yes, and then he captures the knight on f4.
And we can capture knight on f4. Yeah, and black is winning. Correct.
Yeah.
Also with some new threats. So yeah, I think black
that's a nice idea. I mean, I don't know if do you think it would have been better just to capture f5 rather than
complicated it? Yeah. We just took on b5, knight h3, knight d4, and this also works as long as you're attacking the queen. Everything is good.
Yes.
Take this knight is feeling super awkward. Like, I mean, if you go like this, the king has to come for the rescue. Again, some checks are coming. Doesn't look good to me, at least. Takes e4, yeah. So many threats to prevent. Okay, 2, and now just take and play EDT. And now d2 will also become another threat. So I think it was more or less a clean game from black side. Yeah, and 3-piece attack, 3 queens, 2 queens and a rook used in the process to checkmate the white king. And I think the key point to the turning point of this game was maybe this b6. It looks dubious move, but it's not that bad actually. We're just defending the b6 pawn and attacking the white before white starts some attack.
Yeah.
Like you can go bishop a3 or something, but then knight d4, take, and It simply looks good for black. So in the game, the knight d4 was played and everything got exchanged and e4 came in. Now simply black wants to win those pawns. Rook a2 takes e3, queen d1. Okay, queen e3 was chosen. Okay, and knight f4. So this was the point. Because maybe the problem with rook d2 was c3, rook into pawn, and c2. And if you take, and then this queen is dealing with the passed pawn. So maybe knight f4, takes. Yeah, I think it was whole completely clean game. No chance for white. Any thoughts from your end?
Yeah, I think that White's first problems came maybe from not the most precise opening play in terms of the knight b5. I think knight b5 was actually a bit weaker, and bishop b8 seemed strangely just covering everything. And it turned out that the pin on the A file wasn't as strong as it seemed. So then White's pieces just didn't have coordination, and Black's pieces did, and he had the extra pawn on top of that. So it just seemed as if that, and then those pawn weaknesses at c4 and g3.
Exactly. So more or less a perfect start for Hua Charles in round 1. And we also had another interesting result between Danes Hager playing with black pieces against Irene Fee in round 1. It was a Queen's Gambit. Okay, pretty much classical stuff of Catalan. Oops, sorry. And many times we have seen in this kind of positions, people are playing bishop f4, knight h5, and king repetition. So it is that kind of a Catalan or equal position where everything is equal and black is also rock solid. So knight e4, bishop e1. Usual practice is to go like this, but in this game, bishop f4 was played, which is also fine as long as these f5, g5 attacks are not coming very fast. Bishop f4, f5, knight c3, g5. And yeah, this was something to worry about. Bishop e3, and d6 back, c5, knight e4. b3. I think it's time to play b5, but with the offer of knight c5. And
Yes.
the knight would drop. So b6 was played. Maybe the bishop will find its own path. Takes. Okay, knight e4, f e4, knight e5. Interesting. Again, white is slightly better because of attack on c6. So takes, and this is not good. So I mean, I can understand you cannot play bishop b7 because take, and again these people would be hanging. But if you play bishop into e5, for sure black cannot survive without dark square bishop. It's too much weakness. Somehow white pieces will find a way to attack and enter inside, and after that, I think it will be game over for black. So he took two. And now it is interesting to see how this game ended in a draw. So first thing first, he prevented knight d7. So fine, takes. And bishop a6, so we need to defend the pawn. With the rook, I guess, probably. And then transfer the rook to b2, trying to push b5, a6. Now, this is not going to work. I mean, yes, you are attacking, you are giving a threat, but he will just prevent it. So it's not really going to matter. You can play h4, but then you also weaken your king. So h6 is like h4, and lots of things could happen. So he played g4, closing it out. No more tension. And he took on e4. Wow. takes. Queen d7. Queen d7, d7, bishop e2. What's happening? Bishop b5 or bishop e2?
It would seem like, yeah, bishop e.
Maybe this is fine
that sequence.
because I think black is in time to generate some counterplay.
Exactly.
So I'm not sure how now great this is, because we take everything and black has bishop e2, and probably that's why this game ended in a draw. But in the game we played knight takes e5. So both the players are showing respect to each other, not allowing their plans to happen on the board. And now it has
they
also
played some interesting games against each other. In fact, I think they played at the Minnesota Open last month.
Yeah. And what was the result or score between them, head to head?
Irene won that one, but it was a wild game. It was anybody's. Actually, they had a better position, and then made an inexplicable blunder and lost. But yeah, they've had some interesting fights, and Dane was looking forward to this game as a chance maybe for revenge.
Yeah, makes sense. That's interesting. And when such rounds are happening in round one, that it makes tournament even more beautiful.
Yes.
And more entertaining, from round one. So bishop c5 and then queen f6. Still, like, it's a little bit attacks here and there. So bishop g2, white just defends everything. Knight c4. And now this gives some black counterplay. g4 would be hanging in future. Wait, he just allowed to capture like this?
Interesting.
You could have played h5 or anything else. Okay, I know queen is getting exchanged, but what else? If you're playing rook f7, it can anyway take your queen or anyway take your pawn. So why not to defend the important pawn? Because you cannot really go here after some time. Bishop d4 will be so annoying for the pieces on the diagonal. And if you go king f8, okay, that's not happening. So I think he could have played h5 here, but then rook was hanging, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, so Iron was doing good, is what I would say.
Yes.
h4, again f4 ideas, the queens might get traded. And once it happens, okay, white is on the driver's seat. Just trade, go e4, open up position. Or you can also play rook a1 and keep everything under control. He went e4, which is also fine. Rook a2, you go rook a1. And now he cannot really move the bishop rook here because the rook would invade. So rook a1, rook a1. Takes, just take, I believe. h5. Not a good move. It's a pawn move, so it has to be weakness.
Wow, it seems like almost a minor miracle if Dane survives this position.
Yeah, and black is trying for, let's say, h4, but with two bishops on, it's difficult. But let's see how Dane managed to draw this.
Yeah, this is wondrous.
Yeah, like it is just like disaster. Yeah? You cannot do much. Bishop e7 is coming as well. Rook a8 check is coming. Rook c7 is coming. You're losing another pawn. Rook f7 is coming. You might play rook e8, rook c8. Anything you play, you win a material. But maybe black is looking for some counterplay from this. Bishop e4, that's why I played. E5 is captured. Rook to d7. Bishop c3. And okay, the threat is on. So now black must give a check and try to do something. Rook c1, I thought initially, but the problem with rook c1 is e6 is still coming and rook into bishop e7 is strong. Maybe there's a knight d6 luckily, but in general, the idea is to prevent the pass pawn with the king. Bishop f3, no more rook d3. Rook c1. How on earth he drew 3 pawns down? And that too against two bishops. I mean, even if he just pushes, he's winning. Just push, nothing how to do.
This is going to be one of the wonders of the modern world, understanding how Dane survives this one.
Yeah, and even like if he gives like the check or something, you go here, and even if you push, you queen it by force. Like, there's no way that black can stop it. So rook c2 was check was given, c5 was tried, and they played few more moves. And in the end, okay, some checkmating ideas with king f4. Oh wow, that's so unlucky, unfair.
Oh man.
That's crazy, absolutely crazy. There was just no reason to give this check and hang your bishop. Just capture. Or you could have played e6. This is not good.
This is crazy. So yeah, if well e6 pawn takes, the bishop's now controlling e8, so he'll have to give his bishop back.
Yeah. So c5 he okay, we had this in the game, and sorry, what was happening for b takes c5?
Not sure why he couldn't just play that.
Yeah, and now e6, no one's attacking your bishop anymore. This was happening. My bad. I'm just missing so many things today.
Oh yes.
Then maybe black can even win this, and
Yes.
then would have become national master from today itself. Yesterday itself. So unfortunate.
So I've known Dane since he was little. Well, he's never really been little, but when he was younger, and he's played our local club up here in the Twin Ports area, Duluth Superior. I can't tell you what kinds of swindles he's gotten away with in his career. He's like a swindling machine. He's very concrete once he gets into trouble, and every move there's some deadly, diabolical trick inside. Yeah.
Yeah. And he managed to do that, like c5 double attack suddenly out of nowhere with only 1 point remaining. He's managing to get everything. He gave those checks to get him here. He cannot go there. You don't want to go here because then you will not make progress. If you go here again, it's mine, and yeah, you are just stuck. And he offered this pawn, but okay, he said no, c5. I was waiting for this moment, and this is my moment.
Yeah.
And he got a piece. He just took on c5, he took on h5. Now maybe he pushed e6, took d2, g4, and again those checks. Okay, here it was like a bit messy for me. Rook f2 and just draw maybe. Yeah, this was also very, very risky. It was looking risky.
Yeah.
h5, g5. How is he gonna serve this? Bishop d4, really? And I don't believe it's not a mate.
It seems like it should be.
Yeah, knight g4, king h4, king g3. King g1 was played. Rook d3, rook g7. And yeah, so the point is rook into f2, rook g4. So rook d3, king d2, and wow. Did they play this again, like for 50 moves? Like he'll get a pawn, he'll get another pawn, and then let's play rook, bishop, knight.
Yeah, exactly.
And those are particular bishops. So if anything goes wrong, just capture this and again play 50 moves. Would have been crazy. But okay, they tried to give some mating attacks. And now I think rook d7 is just in time for the rescue.
Yes.
And okay, it will be a draw. Black can always capture and say that it's a draw, but okay. So yeah, bishop e3, rook e3, and rook d3 with a draw offer. Okay, interesting. Quite interesting game. It's a draw. It was a draw, but lots of fireworks from both sides.
Yeah, both players. I mean, Irene played masterfully to get the advantage she got, but then Dane just refused to give up and kept finding chances.
Totally. Great fight. So, guys, welcome back to round 2. And we'll be watching games from round 2 of the event. And yes, Sammy also drew yesterday, so he's playing on half a point in round 2. And this position looks okay. Now, everything depends upon whether black can play bishop f3 or not. What are your thoughts? Or let's see from the beginning to understand it better, and then I'll ask you. So Charles, the man in form, is today playing against Sammy, the best player from the state. Knight f3, okay, bishop f5. So usually this is what's being played, but maybe some new ideas with bishop f5, saying that no bishop d3 for white. Knight d2 is possible, of course. Knight a3 is possible, so of course. cd4, bishop c4, and just come back. c into d4, knight f6, e6, and everything is fine. Okay, like this is possible to play. So let me
It's
go back.
interesting how that position has similarities to the Franco-Scandinavian approach against the Tarrasch.
Yeah, absolutely. So this and yeah, 25, let's say. And many times we see the black king is going back or going to a5, depending upon how white is moving his pieces. And yeah, it's possible to play like this. It's just you are 2 tempos down.
Yes.
So in the game,
which is not an issue.
So in the game, knight d2 was played with the idea of gaining 1 tempi. And okay, queen d6 or queen d7, as we discussed, both are fine. D7 better because when d6, sometimes the knight attacks would come. But also at the same time, you control diagonal from d6. So everything will have its pros and cons. But for now, queen d7 is, I think, the more to the point.
And you know something else in this position, if you go back to the beginning, if you go back to the beginning and you start with a French move order like e4, e4, e6, d4, d5, knight d2, c5, that line.
Yeah.
Knight d2. Sorry.
Sorry. Knight f3.
Yeah. Knight d2.
Knight d2. C5.
C5.
Yeah.
ED. Queen d.
Queen d5
queen
or
takes.
Queen takes, okay.
Queen takes d5.
Okay, knight f3.
Knight f3, cd4, bishop c4.
Yes.
So in this position, so for the longest time, d6, queen d6 was the approved main line, and then queen d7 became interesting.
Yeah.
And Sammy used to play queen d7. So that's what I was saying. It's similar to so he switched at some point to playing queen d7 with knight d6, with knight c6, knight f6, all this other business.
Yeah, because it saves the move, and it's the one move which matters.
Yeah.
So I think I'm okay with it. I also seen Magnus doing this in many of his games. So it's possible to put queen on d7 or d2.
Yes.
So queen d6, knight e4 is possible, or let's see what Charles.
Usually 0-0 because with knight e4, maybe there's queen b4.
Sorry. Yeah. Queen
d6. So the way Sammy has been playing recently has been queen d7, but queen d6, and if you play knight e4 right here, then you play. So if you play knight e4, then queen b4, and white loses the tempo.
Go back. Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe he'll castle first, right?
Yes, castle first, and then knight f6.
Yeah, knight b3, and that's
and
the
then
main
knight
line,
c6.
Right?
Yeah, that's main line. Yeah. And then he just goes from here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So in this line also, you're saying that queen d7 is an interesting option here after bishop c4, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, it makes sense. And let's say castle, knight f6 or knight c6. I don't know which one. Maybe knight c6
Either
because I don't
way
want.
is yes.
And let's say now knight b3, and okay, we can get the same position with, I don't know, a6, b5, or knight f6. Maybe knight f6 plus takes, takes, and now we'll capture with knight of queen.
And it becomes a different kind of position. And the main reason why people start playing this queen d7 is it avoids, there's certain sharp lines involving when the knight comes to d4, going to f5 and all that business. And this line would avoid those sort of things. So back a ways, black would, I think, maybe even consider e5 early at some point. But anyway, the reason why I was bringing up this line was because it reminded me what Sami played against the Sicilian line was somewhat similar, except for his bishop is outside the chain.
Yeah. Yeah, and that bishop can change the valuation. Like suddenly the bad bishop becomes a good one, and the position is favorable for the side with the good bishop. And I can see here in this particular position, there's a game between Fabi with black pieces and Caruana. Sorry,
Yes.
Karakin and Fabi. So this was, I think, popularized by Fabi, one of the experts of the French. And yeah, I think it makes sense if you're getting bishop like this, bishop out like this. Why not to play like this? All right, let's go back to the game. So c3, d5, e5, and we were discussing maybe around here. Okay, even 27, cd4, e6. And of course, he cannot capture like this because then the bishop e5 and the king has to move, which is not a good idea. So bishop e5 was played, a6. And so there's no queen d4, knight c6, queen b6, yeah? I hope so. But I cannot see. So queen d4, I was talking about knight c6, we go queen b6, and now what? Just go back or save the bishop?
Well, maybe knight d4, ab5, knight f5.
Yeah, makes sense. At least try with the pawn structure, yeah? And play castle, rook e1, and whatsoever. Makes sense. Possible to play like this. So a6, knight e5, knight d5, and this happened. I think Sam is already preferable. But why is moving the same piece again and again? Like you can just castle, yeah?
Yeah, I would think so. Oh,
wait,
there's 93 coming.
It shows 0-1 for some reason, strange reason. I believe it's DG error or something. Let's see what happens. So bishop g4, knight e3, queen. Oh wait, why you are playing bishop f3? Can't you just go queen h5? Maybe knight g4, queen g4, and he did not like queen takes e6. So he went bishop f3, knight d5, bishop e2, knight c7, and game over.
Oh wow! This happened.
Yeah, completely rook up. Bishop e5, f4, and no good square. Bishop d3 also is possible to attack the bishop. But okay, even knight b6 check first and then attack maybe, or a5 even, yeah? And you were completely rook up and game over. So very surprising loss for Sami. Shocking.
Very.
So how long do you know this player, who are Charles?
So he's relatively new to the state. I think he maybe 2 years now. He's originally from New York. Huh? He's maybe like 20, 21. He's a college student. He's going to school in Minnesota.
Okay. Oh,
and he's originally from New York. I think he's still on USCF. I think he's still registered as New York.
Okay.
But yeah, he actually was one of the reasons why I'm not playing in this tournament, because he beat me during the Minnesota Open.
Uh, that's sad. Yeah, because he looked quite strong. Like he just smashed Sammy.
Yeah,
Like it was
that's
a very good
crazy.
understanding. I think. Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. Like also, Sammy had some ideas in the opening, but he just worked out the calculation part well to win this match.
Where did things go off the rails? Was it?
Suddenly, when Bishop G4 came, the knight was hanging on C4, so we did not get enough time to do something about F3 because we already had one
Mhm.
more live different. And this is where table turn, I guess.
And if he had left his bishop on F5 and just castled, how does that change things?
Okay, let's check that out. So let's say we don't prevent knight E3, and let's say we play castle. What happens next? So knight E3. I don't know this where this queen would go, but after knight F5, something is gonna fall. Maybe queen E4.
Oh,
And the knight F5, we need to do the knight E7 check, luckily.
wow.
So I don't know. That's how Bishop G4 was played, I guess, with the hope that at
Mhm.
least Black will get something in Bishop F3. White calculates well and gets the point. That's it. That's all we can say.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the second live board where Tim is playing against Jordan. Tim.
Yes.
And we have got some weaknesses. We have got some attacking or backline possibilities. Let's see who prevails in this. So it was E4, C5. So many wings gambit today, huh?
Well, it's Tim playing white again.
Unbelievable. So he just wanted to win a game in like wings gambit with his prep. So he ended up playing in all games.
Yeah.
Not a good idea. Bishop A3 must capture. Castle. And now maybe queen B1, queen B0 like moves. Like white's position is somehow very, very easy to play. So maybe now the next is rook B1. And this pawn would be under serious pressure.
Yeah, White's doing a lot better in this game than in the first game.
Definitely.
For sure. I wonder if we go back, let's see if what allowed this bind. So
This is the live
yeah,
board
this
position, and it's white
is
to
my
play.
board position. Okay. Yeah, this is looking
Like a WoW.
uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah, because like the black is passive, white is good. So and also time wise, okay, it's fine. So maybe we'll come back to this game later as white is thinking, as white has lots of
Yes.
options to go rook a5, to go rook b1, or to play queen b1. All right, so
It's
on
like a
board
reverse.
three,
It's like a reverse Benko, where on top of it, black's pieces are even more passive. Yeah.
absolutely. So it's unplayable basically, yeah. So okay, this looks like an interesting one. You have got all the pieces and all the pawns on the board, and like he's saying, I want to attack the e2 target. What do we do here?
Hmm.
Wait a second.
Is
So yeah, s3 was played.
bishop f5 working? Maybe.
Maybe then e3. How do you meet? Oh,
Ah.
sorry, not e3. Rook b2 first, right?
Mm-hmm.
To save the rook. Maybe takes.
Yes.
Maybe not. Takes, okay. Queen d7 or something like this. King h2. e3 is also possible again, but let's say king h2. And I think the rook would come like this at the end.
Oh, okay.
Either get traded or for some action. So again, I think interesting position with all three results possible, as the position is complex. I think right now it's important to decide where you go with the bishop. Are you just playing for e4 square, or are you trying to fight for this diagonal? Meanwhile, we have endgame on move 16 already.
Oh, wow.
Let's see what is this line. Some theoretical line, it seems, in Karokan. So it takes ed5, cd5, c4, knight f6. Okay, no. D takes c4. Bishop c4. Okay, knight e6, cancel. Knight c3. Bishop e7, cancel. Okay, take. Yeah, I think it was clean more or less. So far, at least. What about the Irene? Okay, she played knight g4 after queen a6. She's not interested in doing something here. Oh, sorry.
Oh, this looks like it started from a Jobava, London or something.
Yeah. So bishop g5, and now the bishop is under attack. So bishop e8, bishop a6. Why? To get knight g4 going? Or maybe Richard just wants to clarify or simplify the position, being lower rated.
Yes.
So that's the plan, guys. Bishop a6, queen a6, and knight g4. Just simplify and make draw, or have an easy game with f4, f5. And
Oh, he actually is threatening to double pawns.
Yeah, I mean, who gives this bishop for this knight? But if you have a plan, okay, do it.
I'm curious, would the plan have worked the same? Would knight g4 have been as effective without bishop a6?
The problem was, I guess, he was just taking like bishop g5, bishop e8, knight g4. No. So yeah, I think, yeah, it's possible, I guess. I don't see any problem, because even in this we have got this, and maybe king h8.
But he achieves his goal of doubling the pawns on the king side without giving up his
That's
better
our
bishop.
goal of doubling the pawns on king side. His goal was to simplify. There's a difference in the goal. And this is where the problem is. Difference. Yes. And yeah. So he doesn't want to win or do something with, I don't know. And even after this, yes, we double the pawns, but what next is the question again.
True.
Maybe just bishop h4, and yeah, hoping to get some tactics here and there, and yeah, try to get queens out later. But definitely not this. I mean, that's wrong. That's just wrong.
Yeah, it's a gift of sorts, yeah.
Yeah. And now he's thinking to take this or to take this. What do you think? What he will do? Take and just come back? I think take is just forced, and maybe something. Wait a sec. I just found an idea. So let's say knight f6, bishop f6, dx c5, rook c5. If we play, he does knight e4. Boom. So
that's a nice
you are
one.
forced to play queen c5. And now there are two ways to play, or three ways.
And it could be that for concrete reasons is why he played the bishop takes, because now the queen has a direct route to the king side.
Yes. Just going right away without wasting time. So he definitely had a point. And now knight f6, there's no g f6 as well because of bishop h6. So bishop f6 is going to be forced. And bc5, right? Okay, black has to play queen c5. Otherwise, it will be a big trouble. Only queen c5. And okay, after this, we'll have to see what's happening. b5, b4 next, maybe for white. Maybe white will try to get e4 or queen d4 or some kind of a perpetual there. Trying to take advantage of the weak king.
Richard's idea doesn't seem so bad after all.
Yeah. It's not that bad. But he needs to find this. I mean, knight f6,
yes.
g6. Then only it will make sense. Otherwise, it's just fine. Also, I was looking at one line, but okay, maybe that's not so great. So, shall we jump to the Danes board?
Let's go to the last game. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, I think probably this is 1.5 hours already done for the game. Okay, we are having small delay, but we can see players are burning time on as early as move 8. Let's see what the opening is this. I think it came from Budapest or something. Yeah, Budapest.
Yes.
And he's playing knight e4, not even knight g4. That's a like sideline plus sideline.
Yes. So somebody I know who used to play the Budapest a lot told me that it was almost a sacrilege to consider this Pahalowitz variation part of the Budapest. He thought it was just too unsound. And I was thinking, well, it keeps claiming victims, so why not?
Yeah, definitely. And it's worth a try. I mean, you know that your opponent is just one win away from getting national master title. So why not to test him?
Yes.
And so Queen C2, simple. Just trying to attack. Principal. Bishop b4, knight d2, and very soon we will have exchanges. And once there are exchanges, white will be fine. But look at the energy with which black is playing this game. It's like take 1 point, take a second. I am just going to develop each and every single move.
This is
now. How do we prevent this?
And now it makes sense why they have consumed so much time. This position is very, very difficult.
Yeah. Hello, Jack, in the chat. So the answer is, guys, we don't stop this from happening. We attack the bishop. So that knight takes d2, probably we can go queen to a4 check. He will be forced to play knight c6, and then you capture the bishop. Because if you play knight d2, queen takes f5, and then you are risking it too much. Like, okay, knight d3 you can capture here and fine, but this is too much risking. Like, you have only one square, then queen d6 is coming, and you are just one move away from losing this. You have to play queen d3, and maybe you escape or survive somehow, but still it looks very, very awkward. So a3 was played, and simply bishop d2, bishop d2. Now, what if knight g3? There's a check, bishop d7. In the game, knight d6 was played after a long thought, 13 minutes. So what was happening for this? Just queen c3 maybe. And you take on c1, there's a queen g7 probably first. And if
queen g7, rook f8, bishop f8 maybe.
Yeah, bishop h6, 97 or 25.
So
or also sometime like this and bishop b4. It is crazy position. And that's the reason, guys. People are burning time here. But then still managing the time well. He has 1 hour 8 minutes compared to his opponent 40 minutes. I think he'll somehow end up winning this. being a upper
I
pawn.
suspect. Yeah.
And the moment after e4 comes, it's sorted, I guess. So
Because now it
let me
seems as if a lot of the energy in Black's position has kind of dissipated.
yeah, has been intercepted.
Yes.
That's the right word, I guess, for the current
Yes.
situation. So yeah, that was surprising or the upset here and round two as well. Uh, Charles won on board one, and all the games are going. Let me know which one to go, or audience, please let us know your favorite player, and we'll bring you that game. So we have Tim Jordan playing here with Black against Tim. We do have David playing against. Okay, we have not looked at this. We looked at this. So we left it around here, and it was quite interesting. F495, Bishop G4, and he took on E2. Wow. The point is, I guess, F3. So he captured. Okay. Bishop D5. What a way to save a piece.
Wow.
And now he's just up a pawn, up a piece. And okay, now he's just praying, I guess. If this happens, some pressure. But knight F4, I think he's just gonna take rook F4. I'm just gonna pray. Okay, queen G4 is very bad, so knight F3 probably first. And I don't know, now knight H4, queen H4. Something like this needs to be done. But then again, queen H4, there's bishop E4 coming in.
That's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. So in the game, he played knight F4. Okay, this happened in the game? Wow. F4, F4, queen H3. Let me check. No, this is the live version, and he's thinking.
Okay.
So what Chad is saying? Chad is saying Charles having an amazing start. Yes, Chris, definitely. Also, guys, if you have any questions, you can ask us. And do like the stream. We have roughly 10 people watching.
Yes, we'd like the viewer to like ratio to improve.
Yeah. That's the way to go. To round three. I think this is the new board, right? We didn't have before.
Yes, this is the one that went straight to the ending from the Panov Botvinnik.
Okay, so it was a exchange Caro-Kann, C4, knight F, D4, bishop C4. Usually they play knight F6 and try to develop pieces or try to play like names or Indian. But here we have a surprise. Black just took on C4 and gave white an extra tempo. Let's see if this tempo counts. It's all gonna count in this game. So now usually they play rook E1 or knight E5 in this kind of positions. And I think it's gonna count, but knight E5 maybe knight D7 is there. So bishop F4. Rather, rook E1 is more powerful, I believe, because when you go like this, the E6 becomes a potential target.
And it's X-raying the bishop on E7, which might be tactically important.
Absolutely, absolutely. Bishop F4 is not dangerous because okay, knight C6 is also possible. Like this is also possible. So D5, okay. Just saying, calling a draw here. He just wants to exchange and make a draw. So let's see if who succeeds in this. Okay, he could even exchange queens if he just wanted to make a draw, but he played bishop d4. He's like, I want to keep some pieces and see if I can, pull out something.
Yes.
Queen b6, rook c1, or queen b3 just. I was just wondering. I know it's not going to work, but just wondering if this.
Oh.
So this is king f7, and for this, unfortunately, the bishop e6. And my idea was to play knight e5. Wait, maybe this is working, maybe not working, and this is the whole point. But if it does not, if it does not mate, does not mate. What else? Knight g4. Can I play this? Bishop g4 queen here. No, it will be still a down piece. So knight, bishop g5, king g5. Now can we have some nice double attack?
Let's see.
Not available.
So if knight f3, where is the king going? So the king can go to, but then queen. Okay, that's not winning. Yeah.
The problem is somehow like, okay, sometimes we can say that, okay, this would be hanging, but here also this bishop is defending everything. So some of black pieces are on perfect square to defend things. So it's not working out somehow. But my idea was just like this, trying to work out something. If you play 1 by 3, okay, it's just going to be draw. You can take and let's say, what next? Just 5 points each side and a draw. Maybe even like this is better.
Yeah, that seems a cleaner way. Although, okay, maybe there is a concern now, finally, about his pawn structure. And that's why he doesn't want to exchange off bishops. Although, in general, rule of thumb, going into the ending with bishop and knight versus 2 bishops is probably not great for the owner of the knight.
Yeah, but I think there are some problems here, this pawns. And if he gets bishop e5, and let's say, imagine even, okay, there's always tactic like this.
Yes.
Imagine if there's not even tactic and you get like this setup. So maybe you can hold or have something to play for.
Good
and
point.
I think white has that. And probably they're just repeating here. So he played this, repeat here. And okay, bishop e5 was played by me, but do you have any idea about Jing's rating? Aaron Jing?
Aaron Jing, he's a young player. I think he's like maybe in the 2000 range.
That's good.
USCF. And I've seen his name around. I don't know that I've played against him before. But the impression I get is that he's a pretty solid player. Well, this game suggests that. And Ethan Harrison's a young man who I believe is within high school range or middle school range. He's also coming up relatively quickly.
Okay, so upcoming talents from the Minnesota. Yes. So my question to you is, with your experience, what do you think? Is there a draw happening with repetition here? Or are they going to continue with bishop e5?
I think the fact that he's spent this much time thinking about it, he's going to play bishop e5.
He's going to play bishop e5 at the right moment? Or here?
Yes. Yeah.
Because here, okay, the problem is you cannot clearly play this. This is hanging. And even if you go here, the rook is still hanging.
Exactly.
So whether you like it or not, you have to capture this. Which is not a great idea because your pawn is hanging. And if you do not capture, then he will capture, which is even terrible.
Yes.
So
that's why it was surprising to me that he didn't go immediately for bishop for the exchange of the bishops, because A, you don't want to deal with 2 bishops versus bishop and knight, but B, his reigning knight is going to be likely just as strong as the bishop.
True. And if you take here, then maybe black is slightly preferable after this, if the pawn is not hanging. But okay, there's going to be some pressure, and I think it's going to be roughly equal. So I consider just taking a draw. But I'm surprised what Harris and Nathan is thinking. Like, you don't have option, right? This is just a blunder. You can just capture here.
Yeah, that would not be.
So
that would not be good.
Yeah.
Well, maybe he's looking at bishop b2, rook b1, bishop c3.
Yeah, maybe you're right. And let's say, I don't know, rook c1, e3. Both are fine, I guess.
And then rook f8, rook d8, sorry.
Yeah. This is a good move. But there's a trick.
Ah, yeah.
And you cannot defend both.
So that would be painful.
Yeah.
Well, it's bishop f5.
Bishop f5. That's great. Fine. But I take the rook.
That's that. Yes.
And game may
That's
continue.
enough.
Like, yeah, maybe okay.
And
This
then
is, I mean,
bishop,
yeah, it's
bishop
but okay.
back, and then hope that he has enough compensation.
Expression, yeah. So I think the best is if I disagree with draw, okay, just make it, just make a repetition. There is no way black is going to win this, at least from the current position.
Yeah.
Well, so we witness captures on f6. Now, next question is, will we witness capture on c5 as well, or just changes here happening in this zone? Okay, saying must be error on board 6. Yeah, because no one will blunder like this. Maybe.
Oh wow.
Back to Tim versus Tim, Jordan. And this pawn is under some pressure. It's properly farming it. Like, we left it around here. Then Queen e1. We were talking about Queen b1 ideas, but then he's like, no, I'm going to use my all pieces. Okay, fine. And now it's tough. This is going to hang. Now he's attacking the c3 pawn. Interesting. So will you play rook a3 or bishop into b5? Is the question.
Or maybe rook b3?
Yeah, this as well.
Then knight d5 might come in.
Maybe
And,
possible.
yeah, the positions.
Yeah, this is definitely playable, even with the bad bishop.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how if Jordan has the patience to keep absorbing the pressure here and then try to break out.
Yeah, it's all about it's all
First,
about patience test.
yes. Yeah, at first I thought, oh wow, this is a position where Chemar doesn't have to force anything. He can just sit on Jordan for the next 50 moves and just torture him. But
Yeah,
there seems to be some small ideas for maybe black here.
yeah. So rook b3, knight d5 is one of them, and white won't like bringing rook a3 again to defend this pawn. So what Tim is gonna do? He's gonna take here or defend and win, or I don't know, just
I
play
guess it's
passive.
bishop e4 as well. I mean, in that other line with the knight d5.
Okay. So let's say rook b3 or rook a3. Sorry, knight d5, and there are some possibilities like bishop, of course, e4. So
But
it's going to be interesting, I guess. This is a game to watch.
yes.
But I'm curious here, whether it's going to be a draw or someone's going to play for a win. Okay, what the chat is saying, because
Yeah, let's see what the
audience is saying.
oh, okay. So it seems. What do they say is going on Dane's board?
Yeah, okay, let's move to the tenth board. It was also interesting there, and we saw this. Wait, what happened? We saw this 96. We talked about f3, e4 coming in, and we saw white losing a pawn in the same fashion. Just a blunder. And the problem is queen c4, knight c4, e4. There's an knight d2, so you don't really attack two pieces. And also, the black has bishop back to e6. Took and knight d4. Wow.
Wow.
This is amazing. Take and gone. How many points is going to lose? This is already the third point. You already lost one in the opening. This is the second. And now he loses the third one.
Oh my. This
So
is
maybe we
going
should-
to take this is going to take more than the skills of Harry Houdini
Yeah.
for Dane to escape this. This is
Black is just winning this. So this man is possible to play, but you need to know it very, very carefully. And the risk can always high for white, as white is usually sacrificing a pawn. So then what else if not f3, e4? Then maybe black is fine.
yeah.
He can have c5, knight c6, b4.
I mean, he's still down a pawn, but I think his development more than makes up for it.
Yeah, yeah. Bishop d3, knight g3. Why not knight d6?
Well, 96 doesn't win the extra pawn.
Yeah.
And with knight g3, you win the extra pawn and you exchange off the bishop by force.
Yeah, and no tactic against this. Nothing is happening. And it's a good position for Jonas, who is playing fantastic today.
Yeah, that's like what my friend was saying. This 94 version. Oh, he did play. So are we likely to see bishop c7 in the draw now?
Yeah, he played bishop c7 and dust is settled. Bishop c7. Nice thinking. To make a draw or not. Okay, any of your favorite boards to go?
Yeah, let's see what's going on Irene Faye's board.
Yeah, that was an interesting game. So we witnessed this queen g4, king h8, and simply queen h4 next, probably. White is thinking right now. And guys, you also think and let me know. How you're going to defend the f6 pawn, especially. And I'll be back in a while.
Okay. All right. So yeah, it seems as if queen h4 is an idea for Richard. Also, is it possible to lift one of his rooks into the king side to help with the attack? It's not clear. It seems as if on the surface, white seems to have potential, but black's position is compact, and besides this slight defect on the king side, white's pieces aren't there to take advantage of that defect. So I would think, let's see here. Yeah, it's just a comment from very strong expert Connor Weatherly. Yes, it looks like Dane got tricked. The 94 line in the Budapest complex is very, very tricky. And if you don't know what you're doing as white, it's very easy to fall for traps. In fact, the idea of bringing the knight back to d6 was almost like waving the cape at the bull, where the logical idea for white, which would be f3 and e4, falls immediately to a tactic with the queen h4.
So what's the tactic?
No, I was just talking about Dane's game and how in order for that tactic to work, where he won the pawn back on c4, it actually requires an understanding of the psychology of most white players in this position, which is, well, I'm going to get my f3 e4 in, right? If you don't know anything about central control, you don't fall into that trap.
Yeah, but you
Right.
have to stop this. Otherwise, 94 is coming, I guess, and that would be another
Yes.
disaster.
Yes.
So maybe whether you like it or not, you have to give the pawn and hope that the bishop pair will like speak for itself. But what happened here with 94 was total disaster.
Yeah, that was a total disaster there.
Uh,
And again, it's one of
unfortunately,
those things. It's like apparently the Russians used to say, because white has played A, he must play B, and so while he's played
yeah,
E3, he's played F3. Then the logical follow-up is E4.
Dan did everything correct. He did A, he did B, he did C, and he lost 3. That's just one of the bad days at office, at work.
Yes.
You just lose one after another, one after another. You do all the right things, but it's just an unfortunate day.
Yes.
You win it, you lose another one. And now it's very hard to make a comeback 2 points down. But we know that he's very tricky. He serves difficult positions. Maybe he will have long castle. Maybe the rook would invade at some point. The knights are not developed yet. This rook might come like this. I don't know, something. And we might see another miracle like we saw yesterday.
Yes. This game is not over. I can tell you that
Yeah.
for now.
It's not over until it's over. So stay tuned, boys.
So let's see what's going on with Tim versus Tim.
Okay. Let's go there. Tim versus Tim is board 2, I guess. And we do have some updates. We left it around 21. Okay, fine. The knight takes here, and we have this bishop supporting it. Rook b1, and we left it around here that if rook b3, there's a knight d5. So, okay, there are no updates. My bad.
Okay, so the question now is, can white keep his c pawn while keeping the pressure up? And one of the problems here seems to be that if white gives up his c pawn or moves his c pawn, then his d pawn becomes a weakness.
Yeah. So both the sides have 2 weaknesses, let's say.
Yes.
And black has an extra pawn, so Team Jordan will win. Let's put it like this.
Yes.
Simple evaluation of the position.
Yes. Yeah, no, it's going to be, and of course, it wouldn't be a full Jordan Tim game if he didn't have a full 30 minutes up on the clock. So that might be a factor. Although Tim Rademacher is also a pretty good player in time trouble, so it's not a foregone conclusion that if they get into a time scramble, Rademacher won't be able to hold his own. We'll see.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very difficult for the white team because with half the time on the clock, with 1 pawn less, with c3 hanging, usually if c3 hangs, d4 also hangs, but not necessarily if b5 hangs, the a7 would also hang. So that's the difference. So he needs to get somehow the a7 first if he want to work out things there. But also there are some back rank issues after losing c3. b4 might come in. So I think so. Let's predict the results. Okay. So on the board 1, we already had black winning. White winning. Charles beating Samruk. Board 2, let's say Tim Jordan beating Tim. That is 0-1. Board 3, I would predict. Or okay, you predict.
Yeah, I'm going to say that
Black.
Josiah is not escaping this with any points. It seems David has this one David's going
This,
to succeed here, I think.
David, what do you think about this?
So rook takes f4. Let's
It's
see.
done already.
Oh, okay,
But
it's done already.
Robert is playing with black pieces. So
Yes.
the problem is after this there's no continuation.
That's the problem. It's hard to see how.
And if you try to play this moves, there's a d3 coming in and the e4 drops. Yeah, so he's gonna play all those moves fast, and after this he's gonna think. Because there's no continuation.
Yes.
Or maybe he's just okay with draw as well. I don't know. Like, but how is
Does
it
it get the draw?
No, I think it's not a draw. Initially I thought, okay, they're just gonna make it good, but white can just go here, and for moves like queen d7, there's a queen g4, so there's just no continuation. King g2, yes. And let's see now if he plays fast. Also, if white has to pull emergency breaks, there's a rook b3.
Yes.
So it's going to be David, as you said.
Yeah. And either actually after rook b3, there's also bishop takes e4 before picking on f3. Although I suppose there's a check. There's an intermediate check, so that isn't working maybe.
But it will come. Let's say you go queen h4, rook f8 at some point. It will come. It's an idea.
Yes.
It will happen at some point. Also, d3 is direct threat. Right now, if you ask what's the threat, then it's a d3. And
yes.
yeah, and now there's no continuation for Josiah John by. Sorry if I pronounce it wrong.
Yep. So Josiah, it's interesting. We have 3 players. So of the 6 players here, as far as I know, I don't know. I think Jonas is from Minnesota, but we have Minnesota. We have an open championship concept, where as long as you play in our qualifying tournaments and you're a member of the MSCA, it doesn't matter your state of residence. So in the premier section, we have Charles Hua, who lives in Minnesota now for school, but is based in New York. And Irene Fay, although Irene Fay is a special case because, okay, she's originally from Iowa, but she plays so much in Minnesota, we've almost adopted her as one of our own. So, but yeah, so she's actually from Iowa. I'm not exactly sure. I think Jonas is from Minnesota.
Okay.
But yeah, and then Josiah is from South Dakota.
Okay.
Yes. So we have at least 3 players from out of state playing in our championship, which is I think, kind of interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's nice. It's nice to have new players or fresh players or players from different states with different opinions and openings and ideas.
Yes.
It just makes you stronger.
Exactly.
Grow as a player. So yeah,
yes. Well, I guess we can.
Yeah, we can continue the prediction. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So board 4, Jing. Okay, I predicted this to be a draw, and you said it's not going to be a draw. And Aaron Jing has spent already, I don't know how much time, but it looks like a lot of time after rook d8.
Yeah, the more time he spends, the more time I think it's going to be a draw now.
I think it's going to be a draw. He's just burning it out for no reason. I mean, there are 2 days, boys. If you know it's a draw, you're going to make a draw. Just make it draw and save the energy for the next game. No point, now trying to undouble them in calculation. It's not going to happen. The damage has been done. Now just make a draw. Or if you think that you can outplay your opponent in the endgame, you can play bishop e5, but the right position is this.
Yes, I think you do bishop e5 after when the rook is back on f8, not when the rook is activated.
Exactly. So that you can have this key idea of winning an exchange over there. Okay, so it's going to be draw, let's say, and okay, you tell for fee Irene what is going to
So
happen here. Rook e6 next.
I suspect that the more I look at this, the more I actually think that Irene might actually have small chances.
Okay,
The bishop isn't going to be as bad forever.
right.
And that half open G file means that Richard might find reason to weaken, maybe.
Yeah.
And then the bishop on the long diagonal might become a factor combined with E5 and all that. So it doesn't mean that he's losing. I just think that Irene might have some aggressive ideas after Rook G6 herself, and then it becomes
Yeah, I was
a
looking
harder
at
battle.
this move and I
And
was
then
not sure like
E4.
how to control the black. Like this is very annoying to deal with.
Actually, yeah, this is maybe. Oh, because there's E4.
So I thought maybe this
Mm-hmm.
4 and 25.
Yes.
Or I mean if it goes down, maybe D4 as well, but
But then
in general
E5, E takes D5 seems.
e takes D5. And now if we have some tactic, no, we don't have any tactic. So yeah, it's a 9. 85, and yeah, I think much. Maybe this
Now it
is the
does have
best.
yeah,
So
it
just
does.
go for it.
85 does have this advantage maybe of opening that diagonal, but yeah, Queen G5,
And
maybe.
just go into the end game by undoubling the pawns and hope that you will survive this. Which is possible. It's quite possible. But most likely Rook E1 or something will put black into more pressure.
Mm-hmm.
And also there will be a way for sure for white to win without trading queens. But also trading is
Yeah,
also
so
fine.
now I go back on my previous assessment. Maybe white is the one still holding the keys here.
Okay.
After E4.
Maybe bishop C6 or something. Doesn't look good, but you have to save a pawn.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot lose pawn like this. I mean, you can try to save a pawn. Let's just for example. Okay, you try to save a pawn by capturing with the rook, but then you blunder this, which you already saw.
Yes.
So this is not really going to work. So you need to do something here. Either you have to play C4 or play F5 or just do something like I don't know how it's going to work, but white
Yeah,
looks.
this is actually a difficult position. This is actually a more difficult position for
Black.
than yeah.
Okay, we are going to have a draw. G6 played. Wow. And now E4 or not. E4 is total game on. Okay, let's see. Dane, what's happening on Dane's board? How come he's so up on time? And Jonas only have 13 minutes left. And what he's thinking of, like, there's just no other option.
This is weird.
Yeah, totally. Maybe
Why
there's some.
is he spent? Yeah, I don't know if anybody in the chat knows if there's
Or is Jonas playing 2 games today?
I doubt it. I don't think he's got the Nate Hoover
That
gift.
license, yeah.
Yes.
Only some legends have got that license, yeah, to play 2 games at a time.
Besides, as they're FIDE games, I'm not even sure if that would be legal.
Yeah, it cannot be. Okay, well, we have update on team sport finally and officially.
Okay.
So he did not try to save the pawn. As I said, he will capture this, other guy will capture this, this will go, and black with the extra pawn will win. So they captured all this, rook c3. So rook c1 is threat. So rook c5 was split. Capture is forced. And now what? He's thinking of this or what?
Yeah, this position is very difficult for white now. As the more simplified it gets, it seems as if.
So black is going to put his queen on c7 or d6, or depending upon how white is going to capture. Knight on d5, and okay, there will be small drawing chances if A and C gets traded in 4 versus 3. But if it's a knight in endgame, okay, still like you have to really work hard. It's not automatic draw like rook endgame. So what do you think? Rook c5 will be played or d takes c?
I would suspect d takes. I mean, I would prefer maybe rook takes, but I suspect d takes is going to be.
So what the players are playing for win here?
That's the question. No matter what the position is, Jordan's always playing for a win. And I think the same can be said for Tim. So, Tim Rademacher, I think they're both. That's why I'm thinking that maybe Tim R might consider that the pass pawn gives him some chances. I don't know if that's correct, but yeah, the idea is c5, rook b5, rook b7 maybe to try and create more issues.
Yeah, and he did not play knight d7 just because maybe he was not sure about winning the rook or queen endgame with 4 versus 3. So he goes queen c7. He's trying to stabilize the a7 pawn.
Oh, is that what actually happened in the game?
Yeah, he played queen c7 in the game.
No, I mean that Rademacher actually played g takes c5 there. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're doing good today.
I'm trying. As we say, even a blind squirrel finds a nut. Yeah. So.
And Ed is not playing today.
No, he didn't qualify. Wait, did he? I thought he might have qualified. I'm not sure, but no, he's not playing.
Okay.
And
what's the point of this? I mean, we all understand. Okay, there was no good follow for black, but okay, still we can say that maybe black will try to play like this or something meaningful. Yeah, but then what we witness? Black plays h5.
Oh.
Now please explain this.
I do not have an explanation.
Like, look at the last 2 moves. He played these 2 moves in like 5 seconds. Capture, and then this check, and then like gone for 20 minutes or 10 minutes. And then he plays h5. Like, why do you sacrifice if you don't have follow?
Could it be that he hallucinated on one of the other moves? Maybe thought he could get both. I'm not sure.
I think the only problem was he did not think about it. Would have thought he would have not done this.
Yes.
So there's nothing to be missed, and it's just tempting moves. You feel like capturing it, you just do it. You feel like giving a check, you give a check. That's all. And probably here he realized that okay, after knight h4 check, there is no draw, there's no repetition. White can just go here, and it's a fake threat. Gaments.
And I think that's what he probably missed. He probably missed king h1. How? I'm not sure, but that's probably what happened. Yeah.
But yeah, he's gonna lose now. Black has to lose after. I mean, he's gonna lose after d3.
And David finds it.
Yeah, there's nothing like difficult, I guess, in it. You just keep it simple. Come on, when these kids will agree to draw? One thing for 15 minutes, other thing for 20 minutes, and they play the same move. If you want to do something, guys, play bishop b6, and just give sacrifice and see what happens. Life is very beautiful. And you may not still lose even after sacrificing this. And even if you lose this too, because still they will be having two bishops. What alone knight will do. Even white is exchange up. It's not so easy. First positions.
Yeah, that actually is an interesting idea.
Like if black wants to avoid the draw, okay, go bishop e6, or after this you can at least go bishop e6. So that, but the problem was I don't want to do, put my rook here. So then this pawn would hang. Maybe king f8 line was better version.
Mm-hmm.
So going back, rook e1, bishop f6. Yeah, this looks fine to me. Okay, so Irene, you said, okay, so he did not play e4. Richard didn't play e4. So I think, again, Irene is preferable with this people coming in.
Yes.
And yeah, we have technical error on this board, guys. So sorry for that.
Yeah, I'm wondering if Dane resigned and maybe they didn't fix the kings or something.
I think it's a little bit premature to resign, being 2 points down, especially like he's known for the fighting spirit, right? And
yes,
getting some resources somehow. So I don't think I think it's a digitator or something. Mainly.
Let's see if there's anybody on site who might help out. So somebody says that Dane versus Jonas ended in a draw, according to the MSCA website.
Yeah, I believe in that. I believe in Dane's strength.
That would be another escape from a horrendous position.
I think no matter who's going to win the tournament, but it's going to be Dane's tournament.
Yes.
So
quite right.
Yeah. And even if he becomes national master and other someone else wins it, his achievement is bigger than other people's achievement. So yeah,
that's impressive. If he managed to get half a point out of that game, that already earns him a title of some sort.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is becoming interesting. So he's now threatening knight b6.
Mm-hmm.
And
but I think the better plan was, of course, to go c6, because if you not push the pawn, then there are no chances. So I think this was it. Trying to do something, but if you play h3 and then wait for so long, okay, I know he's threatening knight b6 and rook into a7, makes sense, but anyone playing with black is gonna prevent it. No one is gonna allow that. So what do you think? Where he will go? d5 or d7?
I suspect he'll play d7. Well, actually, it's Jordan. Yeah, I think he'll play d7. Yeah,
he goes d7. I mean, he's giving a threat of attacking the pawn and also preventing knight b6. Now maybe queen d4 or queen a3 to defend the pawn. And if you don't want to defend, just play c6 and hope that This ends in a draw. Just hope. But black will not
Yes.
capture. Maybe black can even play knight b8 and have fun.
Oh, that's rude.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, you have 95, and there are some tricks if you capture. And
F6.
f6, yeah, and then maybe queen a2 or something.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, okay, yeah, there's... But then F takes E, and
Maybe
then
it's not.
king.
Maybe it's
Yeah, I
fine.
think black is winning here.
Okay, 5, and okay, even this is winning. So yeah, maybe it's not that dangerous. Then what else? If this is not working, then nothing could work.
Well, he could
Maybe
play... Well, no, knight G6 isn't working because he has knight takes C6. Although maybe there's some tactic there. So
yeah,
knight
but
there...
at the end of the day, it's not really gonna work.
Yeah.
Okay, when b1 is there, bit of so it's not gonna work. You need to be somehow something concrete in your position. Maybe something like knight here and capture may work, but again, knight c6 is coming. Knight c6 is coming is very strong. So we need to be careful about this knight b8 maneuver.
So queen A3.
Yeah, temporarily defends everything. Again, offering a
Now
draw to black.
rook
Eight,
B8 is possible, I think.
yes, it's possible. You have to play something like g3, or I don't know. It's unpleasant feeling to have this check coming. But maybe you have to do it. And the problem in this line I found was that you cannot really interpose the queen in this because now g1 wins for black.
Yes.
Like big, huge change.
And
So
all of a sudden, the hunter becomes the hunted.
yeah, that's the problem.
So yeah, I actually feel the vibe of this position is turning in Jordan's direction.
Oh wait, what? He went up for what? To have fun?
Huh?
Like, why do you go up with king g3 when it's game? Hello?
Oh,
Is my screen frozen?
well, I think your video is pausing.
Wait a sec. Wait a second. Let me fix this.
Okay. So let's see. Let's look at the position we have so far. And all right, we have Nubairshah back.
Yeah, sorry
Seems
guys
like.
for the interruption. I was just trying to fix the screen freeze. And here we go. Oops.
All right. So Jordan did play rook b8.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And
It's the screen. Okay, yeah, here we go. So Jordan played king, okay, rook to b8, yes. And now it's going to be difficult for him with 13 minutes against 1 hour 4 minutes.
yes.
This is what he had to avoid.
And the problem here, a bigger problem for Tim R is his threats currently are to win a queenside pawn. Jordan is both focusing on the c5 pawn and potentially looking at Tim's king on g1. And so it makes it a harder defensive task, I think, for white.
Exactly. Like, for example, you play g3 and you land into this landmine. You think that you're safe after this. There's a queen c6 comes in, and queen f3, there's a rook g1.
Yeah.
And okay, of course, we can play king to h2 or something, but then this queen b7
I
is
think
just
queen b7 or queen c6, either of them.
Yeah, and okay, now we need to find the right move to win this, but something like this, well, actually, sorry, rook b3 was landing into c6. But maybe that's winning because rook into queen, pawn into queen. I can just go back, takes and knight b8. And the king comes first before this king comes.
Yes. There's also a possibility if we go back a bit, maybe after f3, rather than rook b3, can we do queen d5?
Yes, why not? Definitely, we can do this. Yeah, it's just going to be win. Like, once the white moves the pawn, it's just going to be win for black. So I don't know how exactly it's going to defend each and everything, but for sure, this is not a good sign for white.
No, at all.
Maybe knight d6 or something. Yeah, knight c5 looks like the way. b1 king h2, yeah. So looking at, let's say, rook b1, king h2, and something like rook d1. And the point was, if you go rook a7, you want to play queen c5. But in general, also, I want to play knight c5 because then the knight would be hanging.
You get the feeling that the rook has been sitting. The rook that's currently on b8 was sitting on the bench in a football game, and then finally the coach says, "Okay, come on in," and now he's just going to wreak havoc on white's position.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, Iron Free's position got improved as white did not play e4 when it was needed the most, when the position demanded the most. And okay, so Richard did wait for this idea. This is not happening, guys. So queen c5 has to be played. Queen d4 is usually the idea, forcing the trade many times. Or here is going for this, which is also fine. But I was just wondering for a moment, what if just, black gives the exchange sacrifice? Because anyway, this is different. Maybe rook b1 and rook into h7 will kill black. So e5 was played, knight g3 sooner. If you go directly, again, you lose pawn, and you don't get knight f5 either. So you have to go slowly. And now black is thinking, maybe bishop e5 is a good idea.
Yeah.
He needs to get rid of this knight, otherwise this could become a headache later. For example, she can start with bishop b5, rook here, and just put queen c4, like you give multiple threats. And then you play rook g8. So
and then the game is suddenly a bit better for black.
Yeah, definitely increased to win. But I don't think, okay, I'm declaring this game as a draw. Like, there's a limit after which
let me check the website to see if they've officially agreed to draw.
Declare it. So amount of time they have spent for doing this, you can declare it.
Yeah, it's actually officially on the website, has been declared a draw.
Okay, cool. And black has found a continuation after this. So he played d3 as we discussed. Check, king g3, and now knight f5, king h2 was there, so he took. And now even if white takes, what is there to play for black? Bishop b2 next coming as well.
Yeah,
It is just
this one
going to be
is
another disaster of rook. Yeah.
Yeah, this one is over. Save the shouting.
Let's take to Tim versus Jordan. So he played knight d2, preventing rook b1, and he plays rook b7. So it's a active defense versus active. It's a passive defense totally. At noactivity.com.
Nice one. Yeah, this is not an easy position for either player, but it just feels like
With 8 minutes, it's just suicidal.
yeah, it feels with 8 minutes left. Yeah, I think they do have. Let me see. What's the time control? So it's 40 moves, 90 minutes, and then sudden death 30 with 30 seconds of increment starting from move 1. So he does have the increments to play with, and they're but having this little time against someone like Jordan Tim is not what the doctor would prescribe. It's tends to have very bad side effects.
Yeah.
I'm just looking to see if I were playing.
So we have update in this board of David, like he went knight h4, king g3, he took, and queen d3. I think only white is improving with complete rook up.
Yes.
And this looks like. So I think this is going to be a clear win for white.
Yes. Yeah, there's very little doubt, I think, at this
Against
point.
a disaster. This was a draw.
Yep.
And yeah, this I think black is going to turn. And here we know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I think we have a. Okay, let's see. So he's giving up his C pawn for the A pawn.
Yeah. But is he going to take? It took so quickly because there was no option. Wait a sec. So if this happens, it is seriously having drawing chances, but there's a queen c1 check coming in, and your knight is getting stuck. After that, you can just improve your knight like this or like this and come here.
Yep.
Go here. So is he gonna keep the rooks, or I think there's no point keeping the rooks.
Yeah, I suspect he'll take the rooks off the board because Rademacher's rook is the one thing keeping him in the game. After that, there's almost no counterplay.
Yeah.
So rook a7, queen a7, queen c1, knight f1, and yeah, that's a miserable position to have with 0 time on the clock.
Yeah, and maybe you have to play queen a6 and try to. Okay, there's a queen e3. So the point is like this. But many times even these endgames are lost. This 4 versus 3 because it's a knight in. Apart from that, black can simply continue to keep the pressure. And you cannot always chase the queen like this. But you can play queen e2, let's say, and knight e4, king h2. Now, so this is a threat. Okay, so let's play f5. So that this could be met with this. And maybe knight e3 is coming. I don't know. Maybe knight c3, queen c4. And I did not see a continuation. Maybe queen c1. and like this, puzzle-rush checkmates.
That's dirty.
So something like this could be done in time-pressure situations, and yeah, possible to play for win. So let's see what he does. Okay. This is already happening. Now the question is to put knight on e5 or to knight on f6, or just prevent this queen coming in.
Knight f6, because knight e5 I think falls to queen b8.
Yeah, sorry. So knight e5 is a blunder. Queen b8 is coming. So two options only: knight c5 or knight f6. And knight c5 will also lead into something like this. So yeah, guys, take the safe and travel path.
The safe route.
Yeah, knight c5, completely unnecessary. And yeah, now black will also feel the same way like white is feeling here. So probably queen b8 like this, and then I don't know, only moves this, or you have to push pawns, which gives some chances for white to hold this.
Yeah, knight c5 seems to, unless there's something concrete we're missing, and I don't see it. Well, I guess if I saw it, we would be missing it. But yeah, I don't know why knight c5 instead of knight f6.
Take 1 sec. Yeah. So you said f6 or king g6. King g6, I think again there's a queen g3. But okay, again, this could be possible to convert.
Yes.
But let's say you play f5, let's just say. And what next? Queen c6. Just keep everything tied down. And how white black is going to make progress. So many.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough one for black to make progress in.
Let's go back to live position. He's still thinking how to continue. But with knight c5, definitely chance of white making this draw has increased.
Yeah, I think white's chances of drawing have increased significantly. Yeah. Although, as you pointed out, even if they do exchange off queens, it's not a trivial draw with the knight and pawn ending.
Yeah. So maybe the best try is just go knight. Oh, it's not a best try. I don't know. I'm just pondering a lot.
The knight really can't go to either square.
That's sad. That's sad. Yeah, I mean, even after this, there's a check. I don't know. It's pretty. But okay, with 1 hour, you can definitely find to not blunder it somehow, or you can always go back and have safer knight or dominating queen. Okay, so guys, that's all for today. Can we wrap up?
Yes, I think we can wrap up. We'll likely have a recap of these games and likely some from this evening's games when we have the illustrious team of International Master John Bartholomew and National Master Dane Matson presenting tomorrow morning. And yeah, I don't think there's anything. The games were, I think all the games were nice fighting games. Nothing came easy, which is good. We want folks to fight, and yeah, it was quite a pleasure, Nubair, and looking forward to working with you again.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was great. And just a quick wrap, guys. Board one, it was Charles beating Sammy on board one. Board two, Jordan may convert, but now likely to be a draw after F5, especially just keeping things tight down there. Here on the board of David versus Josiah, I think David is going to win this because of the self-harm, rook f4. While this game was a draw, a safe, clean draw with 99% accuracy for both sides. And Iron Fee is gonna convert this, we believe, slowly and steadily. So it's gonna take some time. So stay tuned for it later in the next recap. And this was a draw. How? Only time will tell. So that's all for now. Have a great weekend and good luck for the next games if you are watching after your game has finished.